Time for the big conversation. An ordinary chat show with extraordinary people. The big conversation. Let's go.
Yeah, it's good. I can sit on it, which is always a bonus. Not quite as nice as the one you're in, so I kind of feel like
this is quite nice.
You've cut a few corners with the cost there, but
mine doesn't have my name on it, and that does.
Well, there you go. What, is it called Will Fraser for the other interviews as well? Then, so everyone sat in Will Fraser's shirt.
It gets rebranded. It gets rebranded.
Right, again.
But
yeah, nice.
I mean, you can take the name tag home if you want.
Can I?
Yeah.
Right, I'll put it on my car as I'm driving, just so everyone knows. Yeah.
So, welcome to the show, Will.
Thank you.
So, how did it all start for you in rugby?
So, I actually moved school when I was a kid, primary school. Went from a football school to a rugby one.
Everyone starts
not
in
on
football,
yeah. It wasn't on purpose at all. So I picked it up there, and then I used to go and watch my old man play quite a lot for the sort of local vets team. So I knew a little bit about it, and then I got taken down to the local rugby club by one of my mates, about 8-9 years old. And really from there is where it all began. And as a kid, I was that sort of big fat lump, so I sort of took naturally to rugby in a way. And I think that sort of gave me the confidence to sort of want to sort of push on there. And
you went to Dulwich for a period, didn't you?
Yeah.
How important was that in terms of playing rugby through school and progressing?
Yeah, massive. The school I was at before, I won't say the name, but they weren't great at rugby, and it was always, as I said, from sort of 8-9, as soon as I really got the ball in my hands, it was always the goal to play professional rugby. So
that was when you knew that was what you wanted to do?
Yeah, everything in my sort of childhood life was all geared towards playing professional rugby one way or another, and I was very lucky to have an extremely supportive family behind me, my parents, and my dad was the one as a 13-14-year-old picking me up at 7:30 from a party or whatever and saying, no, you've got a game the next day. So that was when I knew. And then the school I was at weren't great. And I was involved with the academy at the time and sort of played England schoolboys, and I thought I need to push on really. So the opportunity sort of unfolded at Dulwich to go there on a scholarship, and it was massive for me.
How old were you then? You must have been
16, 17, yeah. So I went for sixth form, and it was amazing. School in London, boarded for the first time and playing such a good level of rugby.
Were you already involved with the Saracens Academy at that
point?
So
I was part of the academy from the age of 14. Yeah. So I was already in it for a few years by that point. For my development it was huge, and just from a sort of a life experience point of view to go to different school and board and meet new people and
it was such a rugby focus as well there.
Yeah, massive. And it was, it kind of, I was having to get the train up every Tuesday and Thursday night to training for Saracens, and I wasn't getting back to school till sort of 11 midnight, and the school were very flexible with coursework and that kind of stuff, so they massively helped me out with it, but that was all I suppose part of the experience that I had at Dulwich.
Yeah. And of course 2009, which is a few years after that, you spent a bit of time in South Africa.
Yeah, myself and Jackson Ray got sent out by Eddie Jones, who was our coach at the time. So he was the one that kind of signed us up into the academy, the Class 08 boys. And
not a bad mentor.
No, he was good. He had he was very, very much a man of tough love, but great for us to experience that and go through it. So he sent me and Jacko out to play for the Western Province Academy for what was meant to be a whole year. Went out there in January, did the pre-season, did a few months, and obviously Brendan Venter and sort of the Saracens revolution started in 2009, so he called us back because he wanted us to be part of it. So it got cut short by 5 months, but it was an incredible experience. I can say this now that I've retired, it was almost like a gap year for me because I was injured the whole time I was there, trained really hard, got to travel a little bit, experience it, whereas Jacko, bless him, was playing every Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah.
So
how different is it playing? I mean, you say you were injured, so you didn't play a whole lot, but
no,
the style of play is so different.
Yeah, it was more the training, to be honest. It was very old school. It was the pre-season, we were up at 5 in the morning, we had these little sort of muffins for breakfast, out for a fitness session before the sun even come up, and it was old school running around the pitch, sort of pushing these massive steel A-frames and running up and down stairs in the uni stadium, like old school stuff. And then we'd be in, breakfast, back out for a 3-hour rugby session, back in for lunch, back out for another. It was brutal, and it was all in like 40-degree heat. So for myself, especially Jackson, who's very pale-skinned, it was a bit of a rude awakening for us. But I mean, again, when you look back on it, as hard as it was, from my rugby point of view, I'm so glad that we did it, because one, it's just great to experience different forms of training, and two, kind of makes you appreciate actually how good we had it at the club.
And when you came back, not long after that, Bedford Blues came along. Dual registration at the Blues. You didn't play a whole lot.
No, I think
what was your time
games.
like in the Championship?
It was good. Again, because
at that period, Bedford were really good side.
Well, they're a great Championship side, especially. They've had a period recently where they were one of the only ones that stayed semi-pro, and lots of other teams have gone full-time and now it's sort of come back round. But no, we had a great time at Bedford. I think obviously we had the A-League stuff, but a lot of the A-League stuff, you were playing against other 20, 21, 22-year-olds who are in the same position as you. So to actually play proper men's rugby against guys that have been playing, 30, 35-year-old guys, seasoned veterans, it was good. It was tough. Like, it was super physical. You got the odd cheap shot here and there, which from a learning point of view was good for us. But it did us the world of good just to be able to step up to that level, and just gives you confidence, helps with physicality, all that kind of stuff. So
that gave you the platform you needed really to progress into Premiership rugby.
And even just being involved in the team stuff, so the socials and actually that side of it as well that we got from Bedford.
Did you feel like a Bedford player? Because of course you were dual registered.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you feel a part of the?
Yeah, I mean, we still were very friendly with lots of guys. Toops.
Still there.
Yeah, still there, still going strong.
Going,
Lost a good load of weight, I think, which is helping him. Look, people like that and Miles Dorian, these guys that were there when we were there as kids, who really kind of took us under their wing. I mean, Toops still was one of the hardest men I've ever played with.
I think he still probably is. He's crazy.
Some of the stuff, I mean, he put in this shot against Worcester up at Six Ways in the playoff game, and to this day I've never been on the pitch and actually witnessed such a big hit in my life. But
he's probably got more yellow cards than anyone else as well.
I loved him, because as kids, if anything happened to sort of myself or Jacko, he was straight in. He was almost like a dad to us. But no, look, I had a great time. I've got great memories of Bedford. Still very friendly with lots of the boys, and it's just good. It kind of is just that whole rugby fraternity, isn't it?
They've started well this season as well.
Yeah, they're going really well.
So obviously you had a bit of a gap at Bedford and before you played your last game, and then you came back to Saracens. And talk to us about your debut, first appearance as a pro.
Starting one or off the bench?
You came on against Bath.
Yeah, I came on against Bath off the bench.
For your first appearance. But
I think it was about 10 minutes.
Still counts.
Still counts.
Yeah.
No, it was. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Do you remember much about it, or was it?
Yeah, no, I remember it all actually. In the team meeting before, obviously, as was the sort of running theme throughout my whole career, spent a lot of time injured before, so sort of Mark made a point in the team meeting before the game, was sort of in front of everyone saying congratulations for all the hard work that I'd put in, and I deserved the opportunity. And at the Rec, obviously, a very historic ground, and we won that day. I can't remember what the score was, but it was great. I mean, it's what you want to do as a kid, isn't it?
100%.
To come on and play in the Premiership, and it gave me a good platform. I think I was on the bench for a game after, and then got my starting debut up at Welford Road. So for a debut and a starting debut, there aren't really two better places.
What about your first game at Allianz Park?
First game at Allianz Park, so I think I'd done a whole season at Vicarage Road by that point, and then the first game I played at Allianz Park was against Exeter, the opening game at Allianz Park. And again, new stadium, first proper match on a.
What was it like moving into a new stadium? Because it is a different stadium to ones you would have played in before.
Yeah, entirely. I think that the season before we were sort of the nomads. We played in like Brussels and France all over the place, Wembley. And again, from an experience point of view, it was brilliant to play in these places and to put away some good teams actually away from home, but they're still a home game. And Vicarage Road was a nice stadium. The pitch was always immaculate. It was just, it was an 18,000 seater stadium. and when you're not feeling it, you kind of, there wasn't really a huge amount of buzz, and it was awkward for the fans to get there and get out and all this kind of stuff. So we really needed our own sort of base, and first game at Allianz Park was awesome. It was brilliant, and it is, I think, in terms of a spectator stadium, I think for the fans, it's got to be up there as one of the best in the league.
Yeah,
I think and when it's full, it's absolutely rocking. I mean, it's only a 10 or 11,000 seater, and we had that game against Glasgow last year, and they expanded it to 15, and it's rocking.
But there is space for that as well.
There is space, yeah. I think it's just making sure. I think there's other bits they want to do to the stadium. Want to redo the sort of the old stand. And once that's done, then I think they'll look at maybe doing a few bits.
And what about playing on, because it's artificial, is it 4G?
Yeah.
What's it like playing on that?
It's good. I mean, it's especially in the winter.
Do you train on that as well?
So if we're playing at home, or we're playing a team that also has one, so Worcester or Newcastle, we'll do our last day's training on there, so our captain's run. But other than that, or if it's honking down with rain or, well, not snow anymore, but when it used to snow, we'd go there and train on there. But no, it's good, especially in the winter when you go to places like Bath and Gloucester and Welford Road, and it's muddy and boggy, and you can't really get a decent game's rugby in. To then come back to Allianz Park and still be able to play the rugby you want to play is great. And I wasn't fast enough to ever get burnt on it, so it's fine.
What about going down, tackles and stuff? Any burns from that?
The odd one or two, but nothing major.
No.
But well, for me, I can't talk.
Well, it rains most of the time anyway, so it's probably
so you actually slide. Yeah.
On a slightly negative note, you were plagued with injuries throughout your time really at Saracens, but you did manage to play in both the cup finals when you did the double in 15-16.
Yeah.
What was that like, having missed out on a couple of big games before?
That European final was the first final I'd actually ever played in, because, as you said, I'd missed every other one because of some form of surgery or injury or whatever. No, it was well, will forever probably be the highlight of my rugby career.
Best few
from
months
a rugby
of your
point
life,
of view. Yeah, without a doubt. That one in Lyon as well. I think we got there because we tend to get there sort of hour and a half, a couple of hours before to the stadium. We do our walk through and bits and bobs, and it was already, a third full of Wrestling Metro fans booing us the whole way around, and it just creates you get a bit of a buzz on, and I get quite emotional before. My way of dealing with nerves is I tend to get quite emotional. Some boys throw up, some boys talk loads. I just tend to sit there and I start welling up. So Mark knew this, and he kind of said to me before, he said, right, you got to keep yourself. So I said to my family, my mates, I said, do not message me within 24 hours of the game. So if you want to message me, send it either Thursday night or Friday morning. If you haven't sent it by then, just don't. I can't talk to anyone because
I'm not
it's just
going to read it.
No, so my missus was actually the only one that I allowed to talk to me. So it was awesome, mate. It was incredible. And then, I mean, that was our first European Cup as well. So that everything that came along with having lost the final a couple of years back, to then win that, and then Prem semi the week after, and then the Prem final the week after that, it was just
pretty intense few weeks as well.
Very, very. And
it all comes around so quickly at the end of the season.
And I think it's absolute credit to, well, one, it shows how difficult it is to do, and two, obviously we won the European Cup, had a unbelievable night. Had an awesome...
I can imagine, we won't go into that.
No, but we had a really good day the day after as well.
Yeah.
But then honestly, actually, even in the changing room after the game when we're having a few beers, boys were already saying, right, enjoy tonight, enjoy tomorrow. As soon as we come in on Monday or Tuesday or whatever it was, like, we're straight back into it because we've got the opportunity to do something really special. So the mindset was, it was actually, I was sort of sat there, I was quite taken aback by how many boys were so keen just to crack on.
Yeah. And of course you did do the double.
Yeah.
And after that final, I imagine you had some serious celebrations.
Yeah, we had, again, a good evening and a good day the day after.
Yeah. But that kind of rounded everything off after that point.
Yeah, it was a funny one because Mark at the start of that pre-season said something which actually is so true. He says that the more successful you get, the less you actually enjoy it, because we'd won the double, massive historical moment in rugby and for the club. But then actually, as soon as you've done it, you're like, right, we want to do this all again now.
Do it again,
so you're straight back into, right, what can we do to get better? How can we sort out a few bits from the finals that we messed up in? And because of course Exeter nearly came back and won in sort of the dying stages. So we obviously enjoyed it, of course we did, but the way we're sort of brought up at the club and with the whole culture and the values, very quickly it was straight into, right, what can we do to do this again? And we nearly did. Unfortunately, obviously, we were beaten by Exeter, who deserved to win in the semi. But yeah, I mean, those 3 weeks were mental.
Maybe on a personal note, it must have been special for you individually. Because the majority of the team had already experienced the finals, etc., in previous years, but you hadn't.
No, it was.
Maybe slightly selfishly, it was like.
Oh, mate, selfishly, it was the best time. Yeah, it was the best time of my life. I mean, I slept with the European Cup. It didn't come off me for 48 hours until we had to go back to training. Then when we won the double, I slept with them both on the night after the Premiership final, and they're both up on my wall now with the shirts and the programmes and stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's no real words to properly describe the feeling. It was insane. It was, as I say, the highlight of my rugby career, and you know, the sort of best 3 weeks of my life probably today. Yeah.
I mean, you had a good season the following year as well. I mean, obviously you didn't quite repeat it, but after that you picked up an injury at the end of the season. Which I'm sure everyone knows about now, which is why you had to retire early from the game. But just give us an idea about the emotions that you were experiencing at that time, because it must have been the most difficult
the retirement
time of your life.
It's a very awkward one, because you know, it was more, Saracens is more than just a rugby club to me and to everyone there, because I grew up there. I've been there since I was 14 years old. I've gone through my whole career with the same sort of 5 guys, and George, Jamie, Faz and Jacko, and you're not just colleagues, you're not just teammates, like, you know, these are your best friends type thing. So it was very tough, and then it was a bit of a weird one because the boys went off to Bermuda sort of the week after I announced it, and I used that as my cut-off. So as good as it was, because I was straight into sort of my new role, which was great, allowed me to get straight into it whilst the boys were away. But equally, I was inundated on social media with all the stuff that was going on, which was very amusing. But I was a bit like, oh God, I wish I was there. Yeah, it was one of those head and heart things. But no, it was an extremely emotional time for me. I have to say, it was. I just about managed to get a few words out in front of the boys when I told them, through a lot of tears and all that kind of stuff. But they've been so good to me. The loyalty they've shown me was beyond anything I ever deserved. And even off the pitch, with what's happened with Henry and my family and the clubs throughout that whole time, could not have dealt with it any better than they did. And it was sort of through what was a very difficult time for the family, for me personally, being at the club was sort of my safe place, if you like, where I could just get on with what I loved and not forget, but just park it for a few hours and then just enjoy my time with my friends.
And of course you stayed on to do not a playing role at the club afterwards. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm running a programme called the Saracens Way. So Neil de Kock ran it last year, and he's gone back to and did an unbelievable job. He's gone back to South Africa now, so I've been sort of handed his good work and
his baby.
And kick it on. But no, so what we look at is how Saracens have gone from a pretty average club, underachieving club, back in 2008, 2007, 2006 to obviously now being double European champions and triple Premiership champions. And how actually everything that's created the success and how we've gone from there to there is very transferable into other organisations, so businesses, schools, other sports club, whatever it may be. So I've been handed this whole business, which is great. I'm learning on the go, not sure what I'm doing a lot of the time.
Was it difficult when you first went in?
No, I helped Neil out last year with it on a few days, in terms of we get current players to do a few presentations, so I was on that side of it. Yeah. And actually, it's by no means us saying this is the way you have to do things. It's just us being very honest with how we've done it. Yeah. And if there's anything we can.
I mean, clearly it's a good model to follow because it works.
Well, it's worked for us. Yeah, it's worked for us. And even if there's little bits that can transfer to help out, then that's great. But so I kind of got the gist of it and I understood it. For me, it's more the running the business part. because I'm sort of running it from top to bottom now.
Yeah.
So it's great because I'm super busy with it, so I haven't really had time to dwell on anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm asking some pretty ignorant and naive questions via emails to the finance guys and that kind of stuff. So, but it's fun. Like I'm out of my comfort zone. It's a challenge, and I'm really enjoying it.
So what can we expect over the next few years? You long-term plans to stay in that role? Or?
Look, I want to. I fully believe in this sort of product. Because I've lived it my whole adult life. So from my point of view, I know that it's a good way to do things. So, at the moment it's just growing that as much as we can and helping out as many organisations as we can. So if anyone wants to get in touch, it's Will Fraser at Saracens.net. Little plug.
Another bit of shameless promotion. There we go. We'll put that in the credits.
Yeah. So look, I do that. I'm still doing some coaching at Amersham and Chiltern, so I'm running the defence for them, which is really good. Great bunch of lads. So look, I think at the moment it's just running this business and then and see where. You
sound like a busy guy.
Yeah,
retirement's not so easy.
Oh, it turns out the real world is a lot busier than professional sport.
Yeah.
Which I kind of thought it would be, but it has hit me, kicked me in the nuts a little bit. But it's I'm really enjoying it, and actually, when you look back on it all a bit philosophically, regardless of whether you play till 35 or like I have 27, there's still so much life to live.
Yeah.
And actually, making sure that part of your life is going well and rugby will always be the rugby, and it will forever be probably the best time of my life. Actually, this side of it is a lot longer, so it's making sure that's right and doing something I enjoy and something that I can get something out of.
If you enjoy it, what else can you ask?
Exactly.
I think that's everything.
Perfect.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Hope to see you again someday.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you will, and good luck with it.